I'm back with another triggering topic. Quick disclaimer. Before I start this, let me say that this video is my opinion and my opinion alone. Everything is alleged and nothing is factual. I do not know any of these people personally. Now, today's message may hurt. It may seem harsh, but I promise that I mean it with love because sometimes the truth hurts, but it doesn't mean that you still don't need to know it. Now, I was flabbergasted to see Sky Jackson's baby daddy on these internet streets playing in her face. Yet again, her stomach is big and she is very, very pregnant. And instead of him sitting down somewhere, catering to her and uplifting her and being thankful that a girl like her would ever give him an opportunity, he's out here acting like he's that guy when he's not. His only claim to anything or why anyone is even concerned with him is because he has impregnated this young woman. And honestly, I feel like young women, but it can be older women too, keep making these mistakes for two reasons. One, we as Black women are not vocal enough at how stupid making these kind of decisions are and how they can impact your life forever. We have also made this mainstream, made this acceptable, encouraged it even, and I feel like this as well. We need to be vocal in uplifting our sisters and telling them that they have worth. And, having a man and being his incubator does not validate you. It will not fulfill you. You are the prize, and you should always conduct yourself as such. Giving your womb to a man that you are not married to, and also giving your womb to a pathetic Pookie is insane. I promise you, which is why a lot of times after the woman has the baby don't even turn one before that man is gone and on to the next. You know what I'm saying? Because he's already achieved his goal, just like Offset told Cardi B, I won. You my baby mama. You get what I'm saying? You know what else? You have to look at the previous behavior of the man that you are interested in because you are not special. No woman is better than the next woman. If he cheated on his previous girl, I'm going to tell you right now, you know what's going to happen to you. If he has babies with previous girls, you know what's going to happen to you. I don't care what he tells you. The same is in store for you. Now, back to Sky Jackson. She should be embarrassed, and her mother should be too, because this is ridiculous. This is the most that your daughter has been in the headlines for a little while now. And it is only because she's only around right now because some dusty bandit boy has impregnated her. And she's out here getting disrespected on Facebook by this Negro. And he's out here getting arrested like some common criminal. And your daughter is still trying to be with him, wearing shirts that say, free him. Like, what? Ghetto. And you know what? I really do think this, and I hate to say it, but, I've got to say it because the writing is on the wall that shortly after she drops that baby, okay, she's either going to, number one, have to leave him, or number two, he's going to leave her because he's already marked her. He already has his bragging rights, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, I got a baby by Sky Jackson, et cetera, et cetera. Because look at this ashy Negro. This albino hamster boy. You can tell that he's one of those knuckleheads that has been brainwashed by the absolute worst that Black male culture has to offer. And he's going to take her up and through there. In and out of jail, acting ignorant. Like, look at him. Honestly, like, what y'all think? Am I wrong? He ain't going to be no good. And he definitely ain't going to be no good father. But she should have already known that. First of all, because if I'm not mistaken by what I've been hearing, his other baby mamas have complaints, And I really think that we should also really tell young Black women that criminality does not equal masculinity. Extremely aggressive behavior or male posturing doesn't mean that, he can handle you and he's such a boss. No, that's not what it means. It means that his mama didn't raise him right. Didn't teach him how to love and respect a woman. Didn't teach him how to handle himself. And, let me just move forward. We got Cash Doll, who went so long without having children, only to have children by a Negro who already had baby mamas. You don't think those women wanted things to work out with him? I really do wish women would stop thinking that they're special. And when I say that, I don't mean stop thinking that you're special, but stop thinking that you're more special than the next woman. Like, because this man say, oh, no, I would never do you like that, baby girl. Yes, he would. He would, and he will. A man's behavior is a man's behavior. When he feels as if he's gotten tired of you or he got you right where he wants you, the switch up is bound to come. If you don't have any commitment from him, no paperwork on him, girl, and the only commitment is marriage. And you will have women say, oh, marriage isn't a big deal. It's just a piece of paper. It's nothing. Well, if it's nothing, then why won't he do it? Ask yourself that. And I saw this clip right here.
What's on y'all? We're in the wedding. We gonna marry soon, too.
Now, did y'all see how Cash Doll looked when he said that? There's nothing wrong with it, but she definitely wanted to get married out here talking about, oh, marriage ain't nothing. Nobody cares about marriage, et cetera, et cetera. You did. And what's something that I'm talking about women in relationships. I still believe that the majority of women do, even though they lie and say that they don't. It's just that they settle for having the baby because the men that they are entertaining will not marry them. So they lower their standards because they feel like maybe they can still secure the man, or maybe they can keep the man by just going ahead and having the baby. And in 9 out of 10 of those cases, it never works. You will end up being a baby mama and he will eventually move on to the next. Because if a man talk about, oh, he hasn't mentioned marriage, or even if he mentioned marriage and he ain't do it, what do you think that means? What these men do is use the child as a way to keep a position in your life without having to commit to you in any way. And, of course, you'll have women say, oh, I got married and things didn't work out and he did that, this, that, and the third. But, did you choose the right man? Did you ignore red flags? Did you see things that you should have said, you know what? Yeah, I can't marry you because this ain't going to work out. And then my thing is also on the logical side, if you're still engaging with men, if you do think that married men ain't no good, who have decided to commit to a woman and risk their money and things that they have accumulated while being with you. If you think a married man ain't no good, is what I'm saying. What do you think a boyfriend is?
She a real female. She ain't like a lot of them, so I had to, learn how to deal with a real female, which I wanted to, and it was cool, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Men talking like this about you is not cute in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Oh, she a real female, And then the fact that he can't even put together 2 words that sound like he has an intelligent thought in his head. I mean, the signs are there. The red flags are always there. But women ignore them. They will be quick to say, oh, this man did this and did that and third. But they neglect to ever say that there were a million red flags that they ignored. This man is clearly a Pookie. I have no idea how anyone could hear this man speak and be like, you know what? I'm going to have 2 children by this man. What? I mean, and then you have, I'm off it. Then you have Halle Bailey and Keke Palmer, 2 women who had babies by men who were not, I don't care what none of y'all say, who were not on the same level as them. Both of their public personas have been tainted after the association that they have had with these men that they chose to have children with, which is unfortunate. Then you have rapper Callie, who had a child by a man that had a very recent domestic violence charge. The countdown's ticking on that one as well. And then they say rapper Flo Milli, who I think is extremely stunning, is pregnant as well. Such a beautiful girl, Looking at her and her man who has his face covered, I promise you. I can tell by that body language, he's a Pookie too. But, we'll see. I don't have any proof on that, so I'll wait until more details are revealed so that, I'm not called a hater because allegedly they say he's a rapper, so we got to wait until all that's confirmed. And then you have Queen Naja out here still waiting to be married to a man, wasting her youth, wasting her time. She offered up her womb only to become a baby mama hoping that one day this man is going to marry her when he's really holding out for the woman of his dreams. That's not her. This man literally said before they started talking that she wasn't all of that.
Well, I'm still from Christian Queen. Hold on. What's that? She's nice. She's spicy? I don't know about sweet heat. No. Not sweet heat. She's like Frank's Red Hot. Nah, just hot. Yeah. She don't got the not sweet. Spicy. She don't got the both.
Personally, hearing that conversation that he had, I'm really not playing with y'all. If my man, I saw that there was a clip floating around where he had discussed me in this way, he would be gone. 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 I promise you. He would be so done. He would be so cooked. I would never in my life entertain that man again. How freaking dare you? And then you say that and you know you said that publicly, but you still come around my way? No, absolutely not. And I do know that Queen Naja is a biracial woman. So I just want y'all to know that I know that, because I know that people will say that in the comments. But she's still deeply entrenched in Black culture. And so I felt like it was still good to put her in here as an example. Now, I really do think that this baby mama culture that we have in the Black community has become so normalized because no one speaks up about it. Because anytime I feel like, especially a older Black woman, a Black woman 35 and up say something, it's, oh, you a hater, you out of date, you old fashioned, you this, that, and the third, when it's really not that. We really just trying to be helpful because we know that at the end of the day, when you get older, you're going to regret these decisions that you're making. You're going to regret messing with that dude and having his baby. You're going to regret not requiring anything of him. We all know it. But it's like, and I think that now it's just like people like, okay, cool, I'm not going to say nothing. Because now, it's normalized and now I'm going to look like a hater and I'm going to look like, some old head. And I really need y'all to understand something. There's nothing wrong with being single. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with waiting until you find a man that respects you. A man that's able to speak proper English. My God. Waiting for a man that hasn't been to prison. What's the worst that can happen if you wait? Either you get what you want and you create a beautiful family in the way that you have always dreamed of, or worst case scenario, I guess, if you want to call it worst case, you stay single and create a community with like-minded sisters and enjoy your life that way. But this culture that we have now, men are able to get the wife experience without investing or risking anything. They don't have to give you commitment. They don't even have to respect you. All they have to do is show up and give you the bare minimum. And a lot of these girls out here are loving it. And the man not doing nothing and he know he getting over. And, I've said this in multiple videos. When you get pregnant, that man's life is not going to change the way yours is. Unfortunately, your life will change drastically. You're judged as a mother. You got to be with the child all the time. If you breastfeeding, you definitely do. And even if you pumping, you still got to pump and get the stuff, in the fridge and get, If you're out somewhere and everyone knows that you've had a baby recently, people are looking at you like, where's your baby? Why ain't you with your child? But men keep going on as usual because society and patriarchy has allowed men to contribute the bare minimum when it comes to parenting and to be praised for it. The same way people say, oh, look at that man. He took his child outside. Oh, look at him. He gave his child a meal. He changed the diaper. So freaking what? I don't get no cookies when I do it. But for some reason, men get praised for these things. And, you also have to think that if you and that man don't work out, your dating pool will shrink. More than likely, his won't really. Because there are a lot of women that will give a man a chance with children if they like him enough. Or if he look good enough. Even the so-called high quality women. But you're the one that has to sit down and heal up and get your body back right. Not him. He can be out here doing his thing while you're pregnant and even afterward during postpartum. This is why so many women end up being cheated on during and after pregnancy because nothing stops for him. You know, your pregnancy does not stop what he is able to do. And if he's willing to have you out here pregnant with his child and he's not asked you to marry him, I promise you, I don't care what nobody say. He does not like you the way you think that he does. Now, of course, there are outliers where people come on and say, well, my cousin Shaniqua did this, that, and the third. Yes, that we're not talking about the minor, small percentage of women that would happen to. We're talking about the majority. We're talking about 90% and up. You know, he just doesn't like you the way you think he does. And it's just that simple. And we as Black women have got to require more. These men don't do more because more is not required. You have women giving a man their body because he bought them a meal or he paid a bill. You have women giving a man their womb and having a child with that man. That creates a lifelong bond for all involved for nothing. A man hasn't told the woman, hey, you're it for me. You're my queen. I vow to only be with you. Let's get married. I'm going to make you my wife. You are my wife. Women just say, hey, here's my womb. Thanks for the McDouble. The problem is that women have let men gaslight them into thinking that commitment is not a big deal. Or they ain't got to be married. It's just a piece of paper. It don't mean nothing. As I've said before, if it don't mean anything, then why don't you just do it? Because they know that it means something. That marriage license is at least an expectation that he's supposed to care for you, love you, and protect you, and leave all these other women alone. And these men don't want that responsibility. They want you to take all the risk. They want you to handle the burden of all of that risk. But once again, men can't do anything that we don't allow. If we demand more, then they have no choice but to fall in line or be alone. If Black women get on code and say, hey, no, you know what? We're not living together. We're not having intercourse. We're not having children. We're not doing none of that unless we're married. And all Black women specifically, because I don't care about nobody else, seriously upheld those standards, men will have no choice but to fall in line. But women are so male-centered, and y'all accuse me of being male-centered, but I'm telling y'all, I know male-centered. Women that behave like this are so male-centered and afraid of being alone that they will not demand anything from a man for fear that he will go or he won't be interested. But you have to feel like, who cares if he goes somewhere? You've got to feel that way. That's the only way to go. Because, if you don't, then there's something that he can hold over your head, and something he can hold over your head to get you to accept things that you don't want to do. Shout out to Kirk and Rashida. And I know that we all make mistakes. Like, if you are a woman that's had children by a man, it isn't the end for you. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to know that. But I do wish that more women that have made the mistake of having children by a man without demanding anything, or they've had children by a man who they didn't know, or who they ignored his red flags, or they clearly saw that he was a Pookie and they still engaged in having children with him. I wish more women like that would say that this is something that is negative. Tell their experiences. Don't make it like it's an easy road to walk, because that's why a lot of these younger women think it's not going to be a big deal, because it is a big deal. And people will say, well, oh, not everybody wants to get married. No one, that's not what everybody wants. You can't trust these men. But my thing is this, is that if you don't trust these men, then why would you have a child with somebody you don't trust? Make it make sense. Black women have got to stop doing this. The world already thinks that they can offer us nothing. And we're supposed to be satisfied with nothing. But yet we are supposed to mammy and save everyone. And now we are showing the world, when we do these things, that we are indeed satisfied with absolutely nothing. That we don't deserve anything, that we don't have any value. And I want the world to know moving forward that we do have value, and we will demand nothing less than the best. Because if you have Black women, right, that are celebrities, beautiful, financially set, settling for less, and they do have access to men of a greater stature, what does that say for the average Black woman? That means that there is a deeper programming in our brains that we feel like we deserve less or we have to lower our standards in order to have a man. You get what I'm saying? And that's all rooted in centering men. It's all rooted in that man-being spirit that has been put on Black women. We've got to stop centering men and allowing them to do their big one. Really, for real. I see too many times men with Black women that they should have never been able to get. Really. I see Black women while I'm like, oh no, he should have never been over the pool, baby girl. You get what I'm saying? But I just, like I said, I just feel like this is a type of man being. And when you settle for less than what you deserve, because these men get with you and they get everything out of the deal. They don't appreciate you. They don't offer you anything, but you appreciate them and offer it all for nothing. You know, young Black women, older Black women, doggone it, guard your heart, guard your wombs and everything in between. We've really got to be smarter. This culture is creating nothing but a bunch of broken homes because these men dip and they move on to the next and the next and the next and the next. And the woman is left, as always, holding the bag. I don't know how many failures we have to see before we realize that this is not the way to go. Baby mama culture is not the way to go. Having a very elaborate baby shower but no marriages is not the way to go. But you know what? I digress. If you watched this whole video and you enjoyed it, please drop a 2 down below, because why? This culture that we got going on, we got to change it. It is boo, boo. And if you can't donate to my Cash App above to help support the channel, that's no problem at all. Just do your girl a free favor. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on YouTube, because I know times are hard out here. You know, so just follow me there. That won't cost you nothing. All right. And as always, ladies, I really love to hear from y'all. So please drop your thoughts, comments, and feelings down below.